So we have no agenda past this. We just ask that you please state your name for use in the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, and we will have a timer system to make sure everyone is treated equally. With that, I open up public recognition, so please step up to the podium or raise your hand online on Zoom. Seeing no one in the room, we'll go online to Debbie Haas. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Debbie Haase, and I live here in Kitsap County. And I'm really disappointed that the Bremerton REAC has been dissolved, and more than disappointed, distraught, really, and see it as a huge step backwards for the county, for Bremerton and the whole Kitsap County, a step backwards in equity and race equity for everyone and for the government. And so I just urge you, Mayor Wheeler, and the whole city council in moving forward to recreate that. And as you do so, do it in a way that includes the history that's been done so far and the previous members, so that you don't lose what has been brought forward so far. And so you don't lose that lens of equity in your government work. And I just really urge you to move on this and not dissolve equity work in your government. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And I'll just briefly respond that REAC and the council have been working on not dissolving it, but getting it in a proper framework so that it can continue onwards and do the good work it's been doing. So we're very much aligned on making sure that happens and that REAC can continue as a committee. Thank you. Next up for public comment, we'll go to Jana Ursi. Sorry, Asere. Apologies for mispronunciation.
That's okay. My name is Jana Kors Essery, and I am a resident of Bainbridge Island. And tonight I speak to you as a resident of Kitsap County. I got involved in race equity work through members of the Bremerton REAC committee, and with their encouragement and guidance, I became a volunteer for a program called BI Reads for Justice that is working in concert with the Bainbridge Island REAC. And I think that a committee like the Bremerton REAC is so important because it examines governance on so many different levels, including outreach programs like this Community Reads program that I'm now volunteering for. I think it's really unfortunate that the committee has been dissolved. I understand your intention to reform it, but I think what's lost is the historical knowledge, the institutional knowledge, the progress that the Bremerton REAC folks have made thus far. And I think it's really important that you make sure that those members are involved in however you reconvene it. The last thing I'll say is in our Community Reads program, we are creating discussion questions for our community members. And one of the questions is, where do you see historical progress against racism, followed by a backlash that sets these conversations back? And throughout history, the book we're reading shows us that this is a pattern. And I worry that this is a pattern that we're seeing here in Bremerton. So let's not let that happen. Please let the Bremerton REAC folks have a say in how the REAC is formed moving forward. And please don't delay with those efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate those thoughts and concerns. Next, we'll go to Olivia. And if you don't mind stating your last name just for the record.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Olivia Hall, and I'm a resident of Bainbridge Island and a member of the Race Equity Advisory Committee on Bainbridge Island. But today I am speaking as a member of the Kitsap County community. I'm speaking on behalf of the Bremerton Race Equity Advisory Committee, and I'm distraught that they have recently been dissolved. It came to my attention a few days ago that due to what seemed like a procedural error on the part of the Bremerton City Council, Mayor Wheeler decided to reconfigure the structure of the Bremerton REAC without input or advisement of the community REAC members. At our last joint REAC meeting, Bremerton REAC voiced their frustrations with City Council. In the short few months on Bainbridge REAC, I have found the same. However, despite our experiencing these barriers, we have also seen great progress in working in collaboration with our city government to inform policy that prioritizes equity. Though we are far from perfect, we have made progress. So far, in my capacity as a REAC member, I have been involved in giving equity-based input into the police court facility, zero emission plans, public art applications, and the race equity officer job description. Tomorrow, we will be discussing REAC's involvement in the revised Winslow sub-area plan. I say this not to put a measuring stick up against our two cities, but to demonstrate what is possible when the community and government begin to work together. Though the recent dissolution of the Bremerton REAC seems on its outside to be an administrative action, we know that these administrative procedures are often designed to strengthen inequities and barriers. And it is simply unacceptable to hide behind these procedures that allow for the perpetuation of silencing marginalized voices. Where you once sought to dismantle systemic racism, by dissolving the Bremerton REAC, you intentionally reintroduced racial inequities and barriers back into Bremerton city government. I urge you, Mayor Wheeler and the Bremerton City Council, that in moving forward with your recreation of the Bremerton REAC, you do so with the express inclusion of all previous Bremerton REAC members. To do anything less would be antithetical to any equity efforts purported by city government and would only strengthen the systemic racism in your government and community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Just a brief clarification. I'm sorry, we're having a little bit of feedback in the room here, so that's translated to Zoom. Apologies. Just want to be clear with the council committee, so mayor has not had involvement and the mayor did not disband the committee. We have been working all year, I know REAC has, on forming a committee with rules that conform to state law. And I know the discussion from what we've been briefed is that's looking at mirroring the Bainbridge model and how their REAC is formed. So appreciate your work there. And the folks on the REAC committee have been involved all year in those discussions, from my knowledge. All right, thank you. Who's next on Zoom for public comment? We'll go ahead to Rennie.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, great. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Rennie Bispham. I, too, am a resident of Bainbridge Island and a member of the Kitsap County. And I'm also a member of the Bainbridge Island REAC, but I am addressing you in my personal and private capacity, not on behalf of REAC, Bainbridge REAC. So as we have heard it, and as we understand, there is some procedural reasons for why it was deemed by City Council and or the mayor to disband the current group and reform it in some other capacity. As we understand it, there have not been meaningful conversations with the members of REAC about this very thing. And to remove the current members, to get rid of all of the historical knowledge, systemic knowledge, and start over is not going to be something that serves the marginalized voices that REACs across the county are trying to elevate. And so I too would like to encourage you to listen very closely to the members of the former REAC group and include them in the planning, if possible, some of them should be on there. I cannot imagine what it would be like if the Bainbridge Island Race Equity Advisory Committee, if everybody walked out the door at the same time. Like any organization, that would be not a good thing. And so I just want to encourage you to listen to your former REAC members, listen to your community as you form whatever version of REAC that you will be forming going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have more folks online? Yes, thank you for showing that. Let's go to the conduit with Mullen Cameron.
Good evening, Council. Happy New Year's to you and to you also, Mayor. I won't go in too much on REACT, as you know my stance on that. What I will say is, as I shared in the last meeting of the year, I'm dismayed that our folks out in Bainbridge Island, many who are white, are advocating on the behalf of Bremerton REACT. And again, it is just a testament to the fact that our BIPOC community here in Bremerton have lost faith in the system in this regard. But what I want to talk about is I'm encouraged to see that there is transportation that will be restored on Sundays. I think that is very important. As many of you know, I have a transportation company. Transportation equity is paramount to me. One of the big challenges is not only that there isn't Sunday service, but that the bus service stops pretty early in the evenings. And so for many of our service workers that have to work multiple jobs, they're not able to get home. One possible solution would be at least to run one full bus rotation every time a ferry comes in until the ferry stops running, through midnight. I think that would be one way to go. And I know that there's costs associated with that, but transportation equity is important. And I love to be put out of business in that regard. I think that's really important. The other thing that I wanted to mention was our homelessness issue that is continuing to grow. And I would have wished I would have heard a little bit more full-throated support from the mayor to not only maintain, because that sounds like the goal for 2023, but we know that, that our population of unhoused is growing, and just maintaining is not enough. We need to do more. Now, the $10,000 that was earmarked for restrooms downtown, from what I'm understanding, is seeming problematic. And so if City Council and the mayor in good faith have earmarked that as a budget, then we want to see that through and see those support services put there. As you know, we have been dealing with some pretty severe climate issues in regards to snow, ice, flooding, all in a short span, and we're not out of it yet. And so I just also want to just give a shout out to all the folks that have kept the severe weather shelters open through the holidays and sacrificed their time to help their fellow citizens. So I just want to thank you all for that. Happy New Year's, everyone.
Yes, we will be working on the issue for the $10,000 allocated for downtown restrooms now that we started the year. And very much appreciate sending those comments about Kitsap Transit as well to Kitsap Transit directly. All right, can I see the list of folks on Zoom? Or yeah, let's do we're just gonna take a couple quick seconds here to see if we can troubleshoot this feedback issue. Checking to see if anybody in the room has a Zoom broadcasting or picking up audio. Use the laptop, cell phone, I would doubt it. Okay, well, we'll continue on and see if IT can keep troubleshooting here. Thanks for putting up with the feedback. Let's go back to see who's on Zoom with their hand up still. Perfect. All right, next we'll go to Reb Ellington.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Hello, yes, loud and clear. Go ahead.
All right. I want to just say a happy new year to everyone. My name is Michael Ellington. I'm the pastor of New Horizon Ministries. This is a church that's been established in this community for the last 17 years. I'm going to be brief and try not to be too offensive. I am very disheartened to hear about the dissolvement of our REAC. As I look upon all of these European faces, you know, you guys have the power to make that decision right now, but I think it's a poor one. I am very heartened and glad to see the support from the other cities in this county to come out and voice their opinions in our city council to the importance and the vitalness of having a REAC. I do pray that you guys kind of straighten this out in a short order because time is the enemy of equality. You know, we've been through enough in this country. As I co-sign with what Brother Marwan just said about restoring some limited transportation on Sundays. As I was installed as the new pastor of New Horizon, one of my first acts was to move our services to Saturdays simply because there was no bus service on Sundays, and to make people's spiritual needs a priority. So that's kind of my deal in the short. Just please reestablish the REAC, and in doing so, I would like to see a more evenly spread. I like to see more diversity on the REAC itself, and I am raising my hand to say that I will, when it gets reestablished, will be petitioning to join as a REAC member. So with that being said, again, I pray you all have a blessed new year, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Reverend. Next, we'll go to Vanessa Dale Ray Wagoner. Ms. Wagoner.
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go. Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
Yes. I just wanted to say what was your plans for the homeless veterans of the area, or the center where the veterans used to meet at over on Kitsap Way? That's about it.
Apologies, the audio is coming in a little soft. I believe you were asking about.
Oh no.
I have been there myself many times with a baby or child in the background. So, Ms. Wagoner, if you want to try again, and if not, what we can do is come back to you in a little bit. Let's go ahead and move on. We'll come back, but I think we got the comment about.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
All right, we'll go ahead to Jim. He's on mute.
Hello, I was just wondering about the VA center that's been closed down in Bremerton for, I don't know how many years, but I've been here for a couple and it's been closed down. I was wondering if you had any plans for it, and also what your agenda looks like for the homeless veterans of the area, because I noticed that
I'm so sorry. I think we're having some technical difficulties on who's able to speak at the moment. I'm looking at IT. Do we have Jim unmuted, or is it still Ms. Wagoner? Yeah, IT is working on it. If folks can just stand by. Okay. Are there any issues, like glance over legal of promoting member of the public to panelists to be able to speak? Although possible. Okay. Tell you what, Jim, let's go ahead and move to somebody else while we think about how to deal with that. We may just ask you to write in your comment verbally. All right. We'll go ahead to in-person public comment. 1 second.
Good evening, City Council members and our mayor. My name is Akoye Karen Vargas. I am a member of Emmanuel Apostolic Church. We have been working diligently in this community for over 40 years to ensure equity, inclusion, and diversity. We were very disheartened to hear the disbandment of the REACT team. We thought that maybe our city government and our city council members was moving forward in an equitable way. There are plenty of models throughout the state of Washington. Kitsap, E-Race Coalition, as well as many of the equity and inclusion and diversity councils throughout our state of Washington is doing this work. And we were hopeful that our county would step up and do the same. We have been lacking in many years in the area of equity. During the pandemic, most of the inequities were very evident that we needed to work diligently to make progress and to move diversity, equity, and inclusion forward. We know that race equity was at the top. Racism was at the top of those lists. And we were hopeful that our city leaders here and our city leaders throughout our county would step into this work of dismantling some of those inequities within our systems, within our government systems, within our educational systems, within all of our businesses and the way that we conduct our business within our county here. We're hoping that the decisions that were made would be reviewed, because neither were they equitable, neither were they inclusive, and they were not very diverse in the way that those decisions were made. So I'm saying to all of us, because it's going to take all of us to be able to address the issues of inequities throughout all of our communities, that we would begin to diligently take time to see how we are doing this work equitably across all of the work that we do. And so I just wanted to say, I think it's time to take a pause and review some of these decisions that was made, and that we would begin to move forward in a more equitable way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vargas. Oh, okay, yeah, why don't we try promoting Jim to a panelist, allow him to speak. If you can just keep your video off and do audio only, would appreciate that. Perfect, thank you. Go ahead. Let's see, we're not hearing you yet, so may need to unmute on your end. IT, is there a way that we can?
Is that
unmute
good?
from our side? Okay.
Okay. I don't want to use the term, can you hear me now? So
We can, thank you.
just all wave if you can hear me. Great, okay, thank you. I just wanted to take a minute. I'm the interim vice president of the Charleston Revitalization or Downtown or Revitalization and Business District. And I wanted to make a comment about Michael Goodnow. He's the first time I met him was just about a year ago when we were doing one of the first major cleanups of the Callow area as part of our projects to address the issues and the barriers that prevent revitalization. And he, along with about 50 other people, came down to Callow and spent half a day going through the streets, picking up trash and cleaning it up. And that was really indicates to me the type of person he is. And I just wanted to take a few minutes and thank him for that. In addition, he's attended several of our meetings. And in doing so, he's really improved the communication between the business district and the city. He's also been instrumental in providing information on our next steps And we really look forward to furthering that as we move forward. I just recently saw him down at Cafe Corpo on Callow, and he was talking with somebody about Callow and the changes that are being made. And he's just a hands-on guy that is approachable and has done a great job for the community. So that's what I wanted to share, along with Callow is cool, and we're gonna help get it revitalized. And I want to thank the city. In particular, the Bremerton One app has really been instrumental, and we appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and definitely appreciate your kind words, and I echo them. Let's see who else is on Zoom for public comment. We've got Brandy Bishpam. Again, apologies if I mispronounce anybody's name. Please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Brandy Bispham. I'm a school teacher on Bainbridge Island. I live on Bainbridge Island. I come to you tonight as a fellow white person and as a trainer of equity. And as white people, we typically have a lot to learn about equity work, and we are usually some of the last ones to come into it. It looks like tonight has been what we typically call one of the basics of intent versus impact. And if your intent really is to clean up the process and to make a committee that follows different guidelines, I would challenge that the impact has had a very different result than what you intended. And I would ask that you look at that as you move forward. Reading books, bringing in some people to talk to you as a group might be a great idea. Because as you go forward and you make a lot of decisions as a group of white people that affect everybody in the city of Bremerton and in Kitsap County, it's really important that you're aware of how the intent of what you're doing, what that impact is. I really appreciate the time and the work that you do. And I know this is messy work to get right, but we've got to keep trying. So thank you so much for your time tonight.
That's what we're trying to make sure is we're in compliance with state law. Thank you. Anybody else for public comment on Zoom? Anybody else in the room? I think we have one on Zoom. Yes, let's try Ms. Wagoner one more time. Ms. Wagoner, if you want to go ahead and speak, we got some of your comments earlier, but not all of them.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, there we go. Please go ahead.
Yes, I would like to know about the Veterans Building that has been vacant for who knows how long in Bremerton on Kitsap Way, and whether or not we could open that up to the homeless veterans, of which there seems to be quite a bit of around here. I'm new to the area, but it's kind of my niche, and I've discovered that there is a big problem in the area. As far as that goes, I was wondering if you had any plans for the building and what your plans are for the homeless veterans of the area. And also, I just wanted to include the fact that Jesus Christ doesn't see our pigments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Probably the best course of action is if you're able to send an email to city.council@ci.bremerton.wa.us. It's a mouthful, but just Google Bremerton City Council. We can make sure that question gets to the right staff member who's able to answer it. But thank you for the comment. All right, seeing no other comments on, oh, we have one more comment on Zoom. Jing Fong, please go ahead.
Good evening, City Council members and Mayor Wheeler. My name is Jing Fong. I am a resident of Bainbridge Island and a member of our city's Race Equity Advisory Committee. I am here in support of the Bremerton Race Equity Advisory Committee members and what they stand for: dismantling systemic racism and standing for race equity. Our two groups have met a few times to share our challenges and our successes. And if you didn't know it then, let me remind you now that you have or had an amazing group of people, not only committed to race equity, but also strongly connected to community. In our last conversation, we learned that Bremerton REAC had to file a public records request to get details on the city's race equity officer position. And now we've learned that the Bremerton REAC is being dismantled. These two incidents make me question why the committee was created in the first place. Where is the working together? Change is hard. Working for race equity is hard. We can't do it alone, and I know we aren't alone. While there are many days that I wish things would move a little faster on Bainbridge, I'm grateful that our REAC is collaborating with our city council manager, our city council, and executive leadership. We're currently providing feedback with the city on a zero emission pilot project, the police court facility, housing action plan, and Winslow sub-area plan. One of our goals is to get the city thinking about race equity and working with us from the beginning, not when everything is set in stone. Relationships move at the speed of trust, and trust means being transparent, open, and welcoming. I don't know the reasons behind your dismantling the current REAC, but please do the respectful thing and speak to your current REAC members. They have an abundance of gifts, knowledge, commitment, and community connections. Please be honest with the community about why you are dismantling the existing Bremerton REAC. If you truly care about race equity, you need community. You cannot do this alone, and you need to do this with honesty and transparency. I'm trusting that you care, and I'm trusting you will do the right thing. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. One last time for any members of the public in person or on Zoom. All right, seeing none, I will go ahead and close